A Finnish airline, Finnair, aptly enough, has announced that it's going to start weighing passengers along with their carry-on luggage in order to better work out the plane's weight before takeoff.
Well, Finnair has already defended their controversial move, because some people are getting really upset about it, saying that the information will be used to balance the flight better. However, travellers have said that the plan is cruel because it will cause such embarrassment to overweight passengers.
So, we're asking today, should airlines weigh passengers and their bags before flying?
Well, joining us now is former presenter of Fat Families, Steve Miller, and director of All About Obesity, Sarah LeBrock. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. Steve, what do you think?
Oh, I applaud them. I have to say, though, they've kind of sounded very bold, Finnair have, by saying, you know, we're going to do this. But actually, when you look at the detail, it's voluntary. It's voluntary. And so what concerns me is they say it's for safety reasons. Fine, and I understand that. In fact, you know, all aviation experts would explain you've got to balance the weight, but they dilute it by saying that it's voluntary. So it's a lightweight policy. Excuse the pun.
Oh, Sarah, what do you think? Is it sensible to do this? It's about airline safety at the end of the day.
Well, like Steve just highlighted there, if it was about safety, then it wouldn't be voluntary. It would be mandatory. And they would be doing it because of the safety of the aeroplane. So it does make you question, actually, why are they actually doing this? And I think what we need to remember here is that what we're doing is perpetuating weight stigma here, actually, by making people stand on scales and be weighed, etc. So we need to think about people's mental health, about the impact on somebody, you know, having to go through that. So we need to just really weigh up, again, excuse my pun, weigh up the consequences of making somebody do this versus is it really a necessity? So, yeah, I'm not a big fan, and I don't think it's really the right thing to do.
Oh, Steve, we need to be very careful about people's mental health.
Oh, well, we have to. That is true. And, you know, mental health, people with real mental health issues should be supported. Of course, I get that. But when it comes to the safety on a plane, if we're weighing, we're either doing it or we're not. And you know, we can't put feelings in front of facts. Which is, the fact is, if the weight is wrong on the plane, apparently the plane could be in trouble and the safety of all of those passengers could be in trouble. This takes us, but of course the elephant in the room, excuse the pun, is obviously also is very much about should people that are too overweight and taking up another passenger's seat pay for two seats. And this will probably make me very unpopular, but I believe that they should. I do believe they should. It's not fair. And also, when I speak to most people that are too fat, I work with them every day, by the way, we don't wrap it up. They also say to me, do you know what, Steve? Yes, if I'm too fat, and I've had lots of ladies who've had to have the extension to the seatbelt say to me, you know, I'd rather pay for two seats, Steve.
And that's true, isn't it, Sarah? I mean, there's nothing worse than paying for your airline seat, which is always a bit of pinched anyway, and then finding that somebody is sitting next to you who is very, very large. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, that we should probably pay for our obesity?
Well, it's an interesting comment there, because I think we are all paying for our obesity in many different ways, whether it's around, you know, how we're made to feel every day, whether it's around, you know, various different things. But I think what we need to remember here is that people that live with obesity are living with a chronic condition. So are we going to then start penalising people with other chronic conditions about, you know, going on an aeroplane? I mean, I get the bit around if you don't fit into the seat properly and it's an uncomfortable flight. Understandably, I understand why people sitting next to you may feel uncomfortable and kind of think it's unfair. But fundamentally, what we need to change is the fact that aeroplane seats are too small for society in general. Because if that is happening more and more, then really what we need to be looking at is, should we be making aeroplane seats slightly bigger so it's more comfortable for the population rather than actually making people feel bad? And I think that's how we've got to look at this, is what are we trying to achieve here? Are we just trying to make people feel bad for something that actually is out of their control in many, many ways, which I know Steve will disagree with me on, but actually fundamentally the science and the evidence tells us this?
No,
or, you know, do we actually make life a bit nicer for people and allow people to fly?
No, you're absolutely wrong. When you start talking about saying all the science says how hard it is to lose weight and, people can't lose weight, absolute cobblers. No one's fat in famine. And also to take away the empowerment of what we should be saying today is all of our nation, if they're overweight, can do something about it. Yes, there's different ways to take action to do something about it, but we must never, ever be telling our nation that if you're too fat, well, that's the way you are because the science says you'll always be fat. That's wrong. It disempowers people. It's cruel, actually. It's actually cruel to be saying that, I believe. And I think what we should be saying is, do you know what? If you are too fat, yes, it's challenging, but there is always something you can do about it. Start eating 80-20, 80% healthy, 20% what you fancy. Start sorting your head out as well. Get more interest, stimulate your mind, feed your mind rather than your stomach. So let's keep it positive for those people that are desperately trying to lose weight.
OK, Steve and Sarah, we've got to leave it there.
living-
Good to talk to you both this morning.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed.
It's going to be a contentious issue. I've got a statement from Finnair which says only the customer service agent working at the measuring point can see the total weight. So you can take part in the study with peace of mind.
Well, no, that sort of works, though. That sort of works. I can see why they're doing it voluntarily at the moment.
But will it catch on?
I think it will.
When you're
I think it
standing
will.
in the queue at the airport and you're waiting, to actually register or get your boarding pass or whatever, it's the amount of luggage that people bring with them.
Yeah.
And that's what weighs so much. I would have thought the sort of difference of a stone here and a stone there as to whether or not you fit into your little seat is nothing compared to the weight of the luggage. Some people take extortionate amounts of luggage.
Yeah, but we weigh more than the luggage.
No, I don't know whether we do.
I think we probably do.